Disney friends, it's Amber with MickeyTravels. I want to do a quick video for you on dining reservations. I get questions all the time about how I'm able to book some of the really hard locations. So I thought I'd give you my 5 ways to get the most difficult Disney reservations. Alright, number 1 is kind of like a self-plug thing, but it is a really easy way to get to what you want if you're looking for that particular dining reservation, and that is to book with a Disney travel agent. There are tons of travel agents out there, but specifically Disney ones are going to focus more on just Disney trips and can handle anything and everything for you. And if you're looking for one, MickeyTravels is excellent, and I am available as well. So if you're looking for an agent to help you in the planning process, as well as make those reservations for you bright and early on the day they open, book with an agent, because we all live very, very crazy lives, and it's difficult sometimes to step aside and grab dining for something that you're getting for your kids. But travel agents specialize in that. So that's number 1, book with a travel agent, specifically with Disney and MickeyTravels if you are looking for one. 2, you need to book your Disney trip at least 180 days before you are going to be arriving. The reason is that dining reservations open up those 6 months before, so if you book after that, many of those hard to find are going to be gone, and you'll have to sit there stocking for reservations for quite a while. So you need to book, like I say, the 6 months is great, but I would try to book at least a month before that so that you can prep and plan to have your dining reservation outline all set to go. Number 3, stay on the Disney property. If you get to stay on property, Disney allows you to book 180 days in advance and your entire length of your stay as long as it doesn't exceed 10 days. So people who don't stay on property, they can book 180 days before, but each day they want to dine somewhere, they have to go in that morning that the 180-day mark happens. If you stay on Disney property, you can book your entire length of your stay on that 180-day mark when you check in. So a very huge perk, again, to staying on Disney property. Number 4, and this is a huge one. This is what I highly suggest to many of my clients when they're making their plans. If you have a very short trip, it's going to be more difficult for you to find some of those hard to get reservations, just because, okay, if you think about it, it's hard to explain. But anyone that is going maybe 1, 2, or 3 days before you, their dining reservations opened up 1, 2, or 3 days before yours. So if something is all filled up for the first part of their trip, they're going to book their end of their trip, which is the beginning of yours. So if you have a short trip, they might already be booked when it's time for your 180 days. So if you have an extended length of time, which 6 days is a typical Disney trip that I book, then you're probably going to want to book some locations that are harder to find further in your trip, because those will have more hours and more choices open for you, because not very many people have got to that point in their trip yet. So what are some of the places I suggest trying to plan for later in your trip? Number 1, be our guest. Dinner especially. Dinner is going to be hard to find in general, but if you're going to be staying a longer period of time, book Be Our Guest dinner toward the end of your trip. You can maybe get lucky with a lunch or breakfast in the middle or earlier in your trip. 2, Ohana for dinner. Typically impossible to get for your first or second day of your trip. Again, book that toward the end. 3, Crystal Palace for breakfast when Disney opens at 9 a.m. And I've mentioned this in some of my videos before. People like to get into the park before they open, so if they open at 9, they want to make an 8 breakfast reservation in the Magic Kingdom to kind of have the park to themselves. It's not completely to yourself. You've got, other people with dining reservations in there, but it's kind of cool to grab a quick shot of the castle with no one really around you. So Crystal Palace breakfast is very difficult to get. And remember not to book, if you're wanting that whole by yourself experience, don't book that on an extra Magic Hour morning day. Book it on a normal Magic Kingdom day and later in your trip. Okay, Cinderella's Royal Table for any meal is really difficult to get unless it's further in your trip. Chef Mickey's specifically for breakfast. And then the last one I have is Akershus, which is in Norway at Epcot. So those are the ones that I typically have to have my clients do later, like mid to later on their trip, just because the other ones are already booked. And my last one, don't get discouraged. Keep checking, even if you have on your 180-day mark could not find anything. keep checking. And some hints are, because Disney packages, full payment is due 30 days before they travel. So if they are going to cancel, that 30-day mark is typically when their cancellation happens. They can't pay for their trip, so they cancel it. So that means their dining gets released. So about a month before you're going to visit, check for reservations again. And then I've had huge success with the week of, to keep checking and checking and checking. And even the night before, because people may change their plans. So don't get discouraged if you don't get it. And even if you book just a few months before you have to go and you find nothing, just keep checking. And as an authorized Disney vacation planner, which by the way, MickeyTravels is a platinum agency, which is a very, very high honor. There's only like 10 in the United States. We will monitor the dining reservations for you if you don't have time to check it every day. Thanks for watching. I hope this is helpful in your dining reservation endeavor. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below or send me a message. I've got my Facebook link and my email below. And if you are interested in using my planning services and working with MickeyTravels, you can contact me about that as well. Have a magical day. I'll talk to you really soon. Bye.